Alrighty, this is Gage Schmidt with Muscle Car Concepts. We got our guest and amazing worker here in the shop.
I'm Nick Barrett, aka Nicky6, they call me here. I've been here since June, been a fabricator and bodyman right here.
Absolutely. Why'd you get the name Nicky Sticks or Nicky6?
Nicky6. When I was in high school, when COVID hit, I used to work at a tractor dealership, working in parts, and I love that place where I used to work. And my managers, they call me Nicky6, and then on my 18th birthday, they gave me a cake that says "Happy Birthday, Nicky6" on it.
So they just started calling you Nicky6?
Yeah, Nicky6 from Motley Crue, because I love rock music. So.
You just fit in with that character.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, or just that name. I literally will leave work and I'll just yell Nicky6.
Yeah.
It's just funny. What happened?
Oh, there's a little tear on or concrete deal on the floor, and I was underneath the Challenger and ripped my jeans, which is fine. They're work jeans.
It happens. It looks natural. I didn't know. If you bought them like that, give them a little flesh.
Yeah. A little bit of Bondo action here. Yeah.
The last jeans I was wearing when I was back there, I literally sat in my Bondo, and it just hardened to the pants. It was rough. It's pretty funny. So, you have an amazing interest in cars. You speak very highly of them. You have a ton of history to share. You know, what got you into, how did you know you wanted to be in this industry, and then who and what experiences really solidified I love cars?
Yeah. Started at a young age where, back then, Cars movie came out, Lightning McQueen and all that. I watched that religiously. And that kind of grew.
Kachiga,
yep. And kind of just grew from there. My family was into cars. My grandpa, he had 4 cars in his garage, and I was always around him. My other grandpa had 3 cars, so it was a mix.
What'd they have?
So my dad's side of the family, they had Mopars and Chevys, and my mom's side was all Fords. So it was like a mix in between. My mom's side was all Mustangs. My grandpa had a 70 Roadrunner, a 70 El Camino, 73 Challenger, and then 1940 Plymouth 2-door sedan.
Dang. Did you ever get to drive them or build them?
Yeah. So 3 of the cars, we had someone else restore them. Probably when I was maybe 12 or 11 years old. And the car we built, me and my grandpa did, was the last car we built was my 1940 Plymouth 2-door sedan. And that's kind of like a patina rod car. It's got the original patina on it, which I love, and adds character to it. And we named the car Pauline.
Pauline, is that a patina playoff?
So if you know the movie Christine, kind of like that Stephen King movie where it's a 58 Plymouth that likes to go around, terrorize the town. Well, I say it's like the older sister to that car is Pauline.
You drive Pauline around, she's just a terror to the streets?
Yeah, she's a cruiser. She's not fast, but she sounds good. She's got side pipes on her, and I love driving that car. So
kind of like a teenager, young adult intro to rat rods.
Yeah, exactly.
That's cool. That's very cool. What motor's in it?
It's a 360 Dodge. We got that motor and trans out of a wrecked first-gen Dodge pickup. It was freshly rebuilt, so it's got low miles on it, and it's a good motor. It's good, running solid cruiser. Engine in that thing.
Sounds nice.
Yeah, it sounds nice. I like to maybe take it out whenever I do the next step build to it and put it in the cam and headers on it, and just kind of make it a little more rowdy.
Sure. 4-speed manual, or has it got the upper shift?
It's automatic on the floor, so it's got that low car shifter where it's push button. It's a 727 trans and 8 3/4 rear end.
That's the 727 Power Glide?
Torque Flight.
Torque Flight, okay. Yeah. You like it?
Yeah, I like it. It's a good car.
Is it more of a daily transmission, or does it punch gears pretty hard?
It punches pretty good. It doesn't have a shift kit in it, so it shifts nice and smooth. Kind of like the Super Bee we drove in the video. It's you can feel the shift, but it's not super punchy. It's a nice, good gliding transmission.
Okay, and what is a shift kit? I've never.
A shift kit is when you have, it's like it's all the adapters, gaskets, and it's all the module. Don't really know how to explain it that well, but basically what it does, it hardens the shift of a transmission. Basically, so it can have a deeper, bitter shift, and it's just instead of like a smooth shift. So if you have a shift kit in it, you can add more power to it without burning the clutches on it.
Okay, that makes sense.
It adds, you raise the pressures in the transmission, so it gets more fluid in there, so it'll last longer. So it's more of a performance deal. It's a cheap way to do it, is a shift kit.
So you're here now, you're building one-of-one custom classics for customers all around the world. How did you gain the skill to enter into an environment like this?
Yeah, so when I was 14 years old, when we first moved down to Texas, during the summer I was playing football, and then after practice I needed a part-time job. So one of our family friends from church, they had a little hot rod shop, and he said, "Hey, I can pay you if you want to come work with me," because it's just him in his little shop. And I said, okay. And first day, 90, 100-degree weather in July, or no, it was in June. It was the first day I was sanding on a square body bed in the paint booth, and that's where I learned how to do body work. And then it evolved to learning how to weld, MIG weld, learning how to work on engines, installing suspensions. I mean, the first truck I finished there was a 87 C10 short bed that we did for a customer, and then we installed suspension on a 56 Chevy Bel Air. Did a 67 Mustang fastback, had a 347 stroker with twin turbos on it, so it was a fast car. We did a 4-link in that, and then we did some odd jobs, like for fabrication. I got a job from a hunting resort to do railings, custom railings, and they have this huge barn kind of deal to show off their all their game trophies. So we made custom railings on the second level and did all of that. We did a beautiful job. Had someone got on the CNC table and cut out a piece of like deer and elk and whatever outdoors theme, and we welded that into the railings. So it was kind of cool. We kind of did some odd jobs here and there, but we still kind of kept to classics.
So I'm just curious, the twin turbo 67 fastback, you think, what is it, 347?
Yeah, 347 stroker, which is a 302 bore and stroke to 347 cubic inches. Yeah, and it had Phytech fuel injection on it. I think it had twin 67 millimeter turbos on it, Tremec 6-speed in it. So there was a lot of money in that car, and it was a beautiful car. I seen it around town where I used to live, and so I was kind of glad I got to work on that, got my hands on it.
How do you think it handled the twin turbos? Do you think that's like a longevity? Do you think it would?
It had boost controls, so it can handle boost on it. And whenever you turn it up and spool it up, I mean, it just roasts the tires on that thing.
I bet. Are you kidding me?
It was like, once you spool it up and let go of the clutch, you're off.
I know it would work. I was curious, if
it can handle that. Well, you got to
just long term,
Long term, yeah. You have to build the motor right with the right compression to handle boost.
Okay.
So that's what you have to do for boost intention for superchargers and turbos, and then maybe nitrous, but that's just more carburetor work.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay, so Plymouth and Mopar seems to be your alley. It seems to be just Nick.
Yeah.
Why?
I just love, back in the 70s, the colors that came out in the cars, like the Dodge Challenger, I'm working on. It's just the high impact colors in the 70s. You got Plum Crazy Purple, Go Mango Orange, Lemon Twist Yellow, Sass Crash Green. I mean, it was very popular. Even Pink Panther Pink was just oddball colors that none other makers were doing except Chrysler. So that's where I started to get into Mopars. And of course, my dad's side had Roadrunners and Challengers, and
the best.
It's just, you hear I just love like the Chrysler wine starter, kind of like if you hear it on the Trail Duster video when I showed you had that little one like ring ding 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 ding. It just nothing sounds different from any other make than a Mopar. I mean, just
True.
I just love the sound of them.
True.
And the feel of it. So, and I watch like Graveyard Cars and, Overhauling and Gas Monkey, and I just love, they're, especially Graveyard Cars, they bring in back dead cars in original Mopars that are worth like close to $1 million. I watch that, and they do like individual details of like every little thing about this car, like every number going down to the fender tag, build sheets, I mean, everything. Just that's where I kind of got my history and kind of read books about it, and just trying to get like, if I were to restore a factory original Mopar, like we're going to do like the 68 Coronet RT, I want to go up, we're going to turn that to original. I want to make sure that is to factory specs on that car.
So you wouldn't change it? You want the real 70s experience with Mopar?
Exactly, yeah. Like, when I think Mopar, like the most famous saying, like if you're a Mopar guy, like you want like the 440 six packs or the 440s in general, the Hemis, 4-speeds, Dana 60 rear ends. I mean, just even like what's interesting they did was like the pistol grip shifters. Like none of their everyone was doing Hurst shifters, which is fine. But I like, a good pistol grip.
It's unique.
It is.
The whole Mopar, it's an experience. It doesn't drive the same way your Fords and
No.
Chevys drive.
And they're all unibody cars, unlike, I mean, Mustangs were unibodies, but like, Chevys and some Fords, they're all full frame or subframe cars. All Mopars are unibodies, so they all use torsion bar suspension, which I believe they ride nicer than a Chevy or a Ford, because that torsion bar is as a spring, basically. You torque it up, it raises the spring, lowers it. So,
how would you compare them to the modern Mopars?
I mean, modern Mopars are different. I like them, like new Challengers. Chargers, I'm not a huge fan of because it's a 4-door. I like original, like back in the 60s, 70s, the 2-door, Coca-Cola bottle style.
Sure, yeah.
Like the 68 Charger from Bullitt, or like Dukes of Hazzard generally. Just that style of Charger, just it's timeless, and everyone wants a Charger from that era.
What about the drive experience?
Driving, it's like no other. Like
butter.
Like butter, yeah. Like I drove around, my grandpa's. It's now my aunt's car. That's 70 Roadrunner. Just a big body car, but you can feel the power of the big block in it, and I mean, it can chirp the tires on it. It's
hard to get that experience where
it
it's
is.
big
Like,
body, but it'll roast tires.
Exactly. Like I can't really explain it, but it's just that feeling when you get in the car, you crank it up and, let it warm up, and then you go on a drive with it. It's like no other car.
Tire meets road. It's an American muscle car experience.
Exactly.
Yep. For me, I like, I'm still learning about the older Challenger Chargers. For me, the modern Hellcats, Chargers, Challengers, the wide body, all black with the Whipple Charger, just that whine, dude.
Yeah, I love the whine of a Hellcat supercharger. Just like there's no other like
experience.
Yeah, like LS's, they make a good supercharger, like like a Z06 Corvette or something. They sound good, or Mustangs, they sound all right, but you can't beat a Hellcat whine. I mean, sounds just in your face, just
in your face,
yeah,
absolutely.
Exactly.
And you think Mopar, big motor, and then you look at that, and it's just beautiful. It's elegant. Yeah. It's got a nice look to it. The sound, I mean, I look more forward to listening to the car than actually driving it sometimes. And the interior, what do you think about the interior on Mopars? Because they always seem to kind of cut it short.
They kind of did. I mean, what I like about interiors on Mopars, I mean, they have nice seat options. The dashes are beautiful. Like B-bodies, they got like the TikTok dash, like they have in the Cornets and the Chargers and Roadrunners. E-bodies, like your Challengers and Cudas, they had like, you can get the Rally dash, which is the 4-piece dash with 120 mile an hour speedometer, and That's pretty cool in my opinion. The center consoles, you know, they're if you have a center console car, they're really hard to find and they're beautiful made. Better than a Chevy.
Better than a Chevy.
I mean, I like Chevys too. I mean, even though I'm wearing my Roadkill Crusher Camaro hoodie today.
Camaro, he's got the Mopar hat.
Yep.
He's loaded up to the brim with car content already.
Yep. So, I mean, what was really cool about Mopars were, like, if you get an SE option for, like, Challengers, they had the overhead consolette with the dome light on top, and then the window plug in the back window, which took the back window and shrinked it a little bit. I don't know what was the reason for that. It was all fiberglass what they did that there, and then they had the vinyl tops on it. And what was interesting too about the vinyl tops, they had an option where you get an alligator top.
I've like kind of seen that. Why?
Yeah, I don't know. It was just something different and cool. And I seen one on a 71 Challenger, and I looked and I was like, man, that's a factory. It was a factory car, all original Survivor, and had the original alligator top on it. I was like, that is so interesting. They came up with that from factory.
Is that real alligator?
I don't know. I mean, but it just, I don't know if it's real gator or not, but it looks cool. So
right. So they were pretty innovative, pretty willing to just go out there and do something new. Do you see any current manufacturers doing that?
Not at the moment, no. They just kind of lost that creativity spark, you
Why?
know. I don't know. They just want to go more futuristic and not much like retro. Like new Challengers, they look cool, but like you don't have the stripe packages like they had. Like, you know, RTs, they didn't have like, you know, the long side stripe across the body, or even like some Challengers came with like the bumblebee stripe in the rear, like most like some Mopars had. So I want Chrysler to kind of go back to their roots.
You hear that? Let Chrysler know. This is your opportunity.
Yeah, like I kind of want Mopar to go back to the roots, to the 70s, where it was like the highest time for Chrysler sales was the high impact colors, the stripe kits, you know, 4-speed interior. I mean, or even like now 6 speeds, but like the pistol grips from factory. You know, just something that, you know, it will get attention from young guys. They're like, oh, that's cool. And like old Mopar guys that was like, oh, I remember they did those back in the day.
Those colors are amazing. To actually see them in person, you know, and not fading, like really brand new. The Daytonas, everything. It's like, you see why people liked them so much.
Yeah, I mean, back then they used like a lead-based paint, which is not EPA approved right now because it's, you know, toxic for the environment. But
pretty on the eyes, toxic on the
but
on the
if you see like original Survivor car with that kind of paint job, you can buff that thing out and it'll shine like brand new. I mean, that's what my mom's car had before she sold it. Her Mustang was an all black car, had that lead-based paint on it, and it turned out really nice after I buffed it out. It just turned out beautiful.
Dang. So you're building a trail duster?
Yeah, currently trying to get some money saved up so I can start the build on that.
Send this man some money.
Yeah. 78 Plymouth Trail Duster, which is kind of a rare truck. They didn't make many of them. And the one that it caught my eye because my dad told me his first truck was a Trail Duster before he got a Chevy in high school. And he came out last July and he liked it. That was my project, and he's like, "Yeah, it's cool." He loved I even joined a Trail Duster Facebook group, owner group, and I posted like, "Hey, has anyone got any parts or whatever?" And many people's like, "Dude, I love the color combo." And
right,
like the two-tone brown.
Perfect, actually.
Yeah, it's just iconic, and that's where my goal is. I want to kind of go back to original, but I want to do like a candy root beer color with like a nice cream color in the two-tone. And then the interior, I'm going to have John do it, do like a distressed saddle buckskin with the plaid inserts, kind of keep it 70s retro.
Dang.
And then refurbish the big block in it and lifted 6 inches with 35 boggers, super swamper boggers on it. Just kind of make it
wide body kit? Or?
Nah, just keep the original body part,
Okay.
original body. But for sure, suspension. I'm not going to do leaf springs on it. I want to make my custom. I want to do a custom 4-link in it with airbags, so I can, like, I got my inspiration from like, yeah, I see my inspiration from like the show Texas Metal. They did a 72 3-door Suburban 4-wheel drive.
3-door Suburban?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they came when the first like 70s Suburbans came out. They had 1 door on one side and 3 doors on the other, so they call them 3-door Suburbans, which are cool trucks. You don't see them very often in 4-wheel drives.
Right.
Like we had one at our Cars and Coffee, that lowered gray one.
Yeah.
It was a Suburban. That was a 3-door Suburban.
Huh.
But yeah, that thing had a custom 4-link with air ride, but he had like a 6-inch lift. He had 35s on or 37s, and I want to do 1 3/4 ton axles underneath. Get rid of the semi floats that are under it right now, and get like Dodge 3/4 ton axles, and just kind of build my suspension from there.
What's your plan with it? Just daily drive it?
Daily,
take it up a mountain? What are you gonna do?
Daily in, maybe go off-roading in it a couple times, but just drive it around. You know, take it to shows, and it's basically just kind of like a toy, basically.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Men need toys.
Yeah, men do need toys. And
something to do and something to enjoy.
And I'm trying to look for another toy for a motor I got in my grandma's garage. It's another 360.
There you go. You give a man a motor, then he just needs a body. Then he just needs a frame. Then he needs some seats.
Yeah, like I got a motor, I got a transmission, I got a 9-inch Ford rear end. I was like, okay, I want to build a drag car or street strip car I can go racing in.
There you go.
So I'm looking for like between a 67 or 72 Dodge Dart, because I like the small A bodies, and they're really good on the drag strip because they're small, they're light. And I want to do, I'm either thinking twin turbos or for now just do nitrous on it, but I want to take that 360 and do a 416 stroker.
What's it out of?
That motor came out of a van, I think. I tore it apart, and it's a good shape. I'm only going to use the short block out of it, so none of the pistons or intake or heads are going to be there. It's just going to be the block.
Okay, sure.
Then I'll take it to the machine shop and get machine board out, and bigger crank, rods, pistons. So,
dang.
Yeah.
Yeah, you give a man a shifter, he'll tell you then he needs a car. It's kind of like if you give a mouse a cookie.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, Grandma, thanks for the shifter. Now I just need to drop 10 grand on a new car.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Basically, yeah. I found one in Iowa that I might go look at. It's a 70 Dart, which I like, and it's like $1,000. It's a roller. I was like, man, that'd be kind of cool. I mean, it's cheap. It's got a title.
Got a title. That's all you need.
Yep. All I need is a title, and basically just make a race car out of it.
There you go. A title and a dream. Mm-hmm. That's gonna be the name of this episode. Nick dot a title and a dream.
Title and a dream.
Amen.
Yeah.
Very cool. So you're here now at Muscle Car Concepts. What are you working on here?
Right now I'm working on the 74 Challenger out there. We're going to do the Hellcat swap on. That's a really cool car. Clint did amazing fabrication on it.
Amazing.
Love the, it's called CSXT, the chassis reinforcement, like they did from the firewall to the subframe in the front. They added that brace in with the dimple dies and the lower radiator support, and they did all the, what's it called?
Tubbing in the back.
Yeah, they did the mini tub. They did...
They gave it. It's a unibody.
It's a unibody
but
car.
They gave it almost like a frame.
Yeah, almost. It's more rigid now, and it's
why?
It's got subframe connectors on it and everything. Rigid, so because that Hellcat's making 707 horsepower. Yeah, 707 horsepower. You don't want that thing to not axle. You don't want a thing to plant on the ground and just drive.
Chassis twisted off the line.
Yeah,
I mean, we can't have none of that.
No, we can't. I mean, we want that car to handle like a brand new car. Just so much power adding to it.
Right.
Because you can't really do that to a stock 70 Challenger, which I mean you can, but it's not gonna last long.
Yeah, it's not
like
quite
chassis
right.
parts are gonna start tweaking, and you know, got to add much stronger torque boxes on it, and you know, it's one of those things where if you want to make more power, you got to stiffen up that chassis so it can plant on the ground. So
what's interesting is he wants to daily drive it, and he even wants cruise control for long drives, which I think kind of complements the motor. You know, you can step on it, it can be a race car, but if you need to just daily drive it,
yeah, and that's what I love about people that want to, like, once they get their car restored or redone, I love people that just get them out of the garage and daily them or drive them.
I respect it.
Because, like, it's cool when you're a collector, but they just sit and it's not good for the car.
No, it's not.
Because you're leaking fluids. You're not,
gaskets are drying.
Gaskets are drying. You got bad gas in there, and if you want to crank it up, you gotta, you got bad gas and it's not gonna run right. You gotta.
Is it gonna run left?
Either way. But yeah, you gotta rebuild the carburetor, put new gaskets in it. It's just gonna suck.
Yeah, you may as well enjoy it.
Exactly. It's not good for the cars if they sit. Yeah. In my opinion,
so you must race them.
Not race them. Just get them out of the garage, knock the dust off, crank it up, put some new fuel in it, and go for a cruise, like even like a weekend driver.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's fair that you still get that experience out of it. You keep it in a healthy state.
Exactly. Like, you want fluid moving through that, like, you want gas, you want oil moving, you want trans fluid moving, you want the rear end gear to be flowing in that, so no parts will break or fluid will gum up and get old and crusty, and you just want, and then during the winter, you can fix it. All those things are things, like just little stuff.
I drive
and then back in
anyway.
when the spring comes and summer and fall, you can drive it.
Dang. So if you could build anything or have anything right now, what would you build, and then what would you do with it?
So one of my dream cars that I would love to build is a 1970 Dodge Super Bee. Yeah, I just love the style of it. It's got the front bumperettes on it instead of a bumper. It just looks looks mean, just coming right at you. I would do that if I find a good car. Do a 440 in it, big block, with a fuel injection 6-pack setup, so it'll look like a factory 6-pack car, but it's fuel injected throttle bodies. Do a 5-speed in it.
On the floor?
Yeah, 5-speed on the floor with a pistol grip, and then just kind of mini tub it. I put fatter tires on it, and I can take it drag racing if I want to, or I can just cruise around the street. Do the Hemi hood scoop on it, blacked out. And I'm kind of deciding on colors. I would love to find either a Go Mango Orange or a Burn Orange car.
Burnt orange?
Yeah, which is a little darker orange. It just complements the body lines.
Respect it.
Either that or like FY1 Lemon Twist Yellow or Sublime or Sassafras Green. I don't.
Any of those vibrant.
Any of those high impact colors, I would do.
High impact colors.
Yeah.
That's a cool name. Even the name of the colors is just captivating.
Oh yeah.
High impact colors. That's
like
what
if
they
you
are.
see a high impact color like down the road, you can recognize it from far away. That just the color just pops.
Dude, imagine seeing a 69 Daytona in the yellow. I forgot what it's called.
Let's see, Daytona, Dodge, Lemon Twist Yellow.
Dude, from a quarter mile away driving to you, just see that big wing, and you're like,
oh yeah, I love the wing cars. I mean, they're super cool. I mean, at a car show I went to, where I got my car out last week, promoted the shop. There was a guy from Colorado came down, had an original Lemon Twist Yellow 1970 Superbird, which is it's a Plymouth brand, which is basically it's a Roadrunner with a wing. And it's got fenders from a Dodge Coronet, and then it's got a custom front nose on it. And that was an all original Survivor car. Dang. And I talked to the guy for like an hour, just looking at little details, looking at the build sheet of that car, and it even had the original bias plies tires on it, which is so cool. He aired it up and just kept it original. He told me he drives it around town, which I love.
I would, yeah, for sure.
And I was like, man, I just love this car. And that car is worth, gosh, like
$250,000.
A little more than that. I mean, they didn't make many of them because they're meant to compete with NASCAR. Like first it was the Dodge Daytona in '69, and then when Plymouth wanted Richard Petty back from Ford, because Richard Petty was racing for Ford at the time, he says, you know, how can we get you back to drive with us? And he said, I want a wing car. So they designed the Superbird in a wind tunnel, same as the Daytona, and he just knocked everyone out in competition. I mean, to the point, and they ran from 71 or mid-year 70 or 71, and then NASCAR banned them because they were too fast.
Badass.
The wing cars.
That's cool. That's how you know you're doing something right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for me, to bring it back full circle, you mentioned Cars was like that movie for you that just brought you to loving cars.
Yeah, then like, you know, fourth grade or, you know, first grade, I was, funny thing, my teacher was asking like, you know, our favorite movies. Like, Nick, what's your favorite movie? Fast and Furious 4. They're like, your parents let you watch that? Yeah. So, because my dad owned a audio store back when I was a kid, and he had a theater in the back room that he did a whole home audio and car audio. So while he was working, whatever, I would just watch a movie and
amazing stereo system.
Oh, amazing! My dad, he is an audio man.
Good.
That's where I learned how to build audio systems and cars. That's what I like doing. I mean, wiring, it's all right, but just when you're done,
the end result
is perfect. I love a good custom sound. You know, crisp, clean speakers with a good subs on it. Not too rowdy like some people do, like put like 415s in a car.
Something that you can hear the audio in like
you're at
all its depth.
Yeah, I want to feel like experience like when you're at a concert.
Yep.
You know, that's what
but
I love.
Not drowned out by bass. Or
yeah. I don't want too much bass. I want a nice, good, crisp bass where I can feel it.
Yep.
But I can also hear the quality of the music.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, for me, again to bring it back full circle, the blue Daytona that was featured in Cars, that light blue one, like that's my dream car. Just that in a light blue with maybe a Hemi, like a newer engine, like
the newer Hemi in it.
Yeah, and then built a little, like where it's a little more rigid. I feel like in the older Mopars, you kind of get like a loose steering control experience.
It is, yeah, a little bit. You know, you got stiffen that chassis up. Put a better power steering unit, because you know all cars back in the 60s, 70s, they rode good. Steering was okay. They weren't great because you got bushings, you got tie rod ends, which all cars have that steering issues. I mean, for you to let's say do like a power rack and pinion with like a Mustang 2 front clip on it, like Magnum Force does that. They're doing the suspension on the Challenger and what we're working on. And they have one on the 68 Satellite that's on the rack back here.
Oh, I know what you mean in the rear end.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, even like you said, it's kind of all the cars in that generation. Even when you look at the 68 Camaro we got in the shop, you just got a lot of play in the steering wheel, and I feel like if you're getting rowdy and getting sideways,
it's hard to control that.
It is because there's so much give. It's like the oversteer and countersteer is harder to predict.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's better than manual steering, that's for sure.
Manual steering? No power steering?
No power steering. It's just straight up manual steering.
Yikes.
First time I ever drove a manual steering, it was the first time I ever drove stick. It was when I was in high school, my buddy had a 46 Willys Jeep, 3-speed manual, no power steering. It was straight 6, or straight 4. It was a 4-cylinder little Jeep. And yeah, that thing, you had to do like a 30-point turn on that thing. You just like, urgh.
So if you're going fast into a turn, would it more likely just keep going straight? Just because it'd be really hard to crank?
Once you get speed up, it's easy to control. But once you're kind of in, like you're leaving a parking lot or just like driving out, it's kind of hard to steer getting out. But once you get, running and moving down like 40 miles an hour,
it follows
wherever you steer, yeah.
Okay.
So it's not as hard when you're going fast around a corner. Most drag racers use manual steering because you don't steer on the drag strip.
Right.
You only go straight for a quarter mile, and you only turn right on the turnout when you get your ET ticket. But yeah.
Dang. Well, I know that you have to get back to work. I want to respect that. Is there anything that you wanted to end this off with?
Yeah. Man, just I just love working here. It's kind of like a dream for me. I mean, it was a long road getting up here. Had to, from Texas, I had moved 13 hours away from my parents, went to Wyotech for my passion, doing paint body and fabrication. And then I'm glad I came back to Nebraska to be closer with my other family, relatives. I mean, it's just kind of this, Nebraska's my home, and I love doing what I'm doing here. Is my passion for building cars. And I don't want it to end. Like, I want this shop, I see this shop growing a lot, and I see this shop growing in the next maybe 80, 100 years, I would say, just because, cars are going down in price. The younger generation, like our generation, we kind of want to get in the muscle cars, kind of get away from the modern sports cars and stuff. And I see that growing and getting more builds in.
I sure hope so.
Yeah.
That's cool. You said 80 to 100 years you still see us kicking.
I see that.
Longer than I think most people expect.
Yeah, like for a restoration shop, you're thinking, oh, they're not going to last long. That's not a big business.
I just haven't thought that far in time lapse.
I see it. I really do see it.
That's badass.
So.
Okay. Well, we'll have more podcasts with Nick. I think this was a pretty fair intro into Nick, some of his background, some of his character. I mean, you're a pretty main component of this shop and some of the content. I mean, you just do great with social media. So I think that this is an intro to get people aware that, like, you exist and you're here and why you're here and what you add to it, which is everything that you just talked about, really your passion, your excitement.
And I love, this group of guys I work with. I mean, they're more like a family here. It's like a second family I have here. Like, I love, some people dread coming to work every morning. I wake up every morning and I'm excited to come here because I get to do something. I get to be creative and, enhance my skills and just learn from, like, the older generation, like from Donnie or from Clint or Michael. It just kind of like, because I'm still young, still green, and I want to get better and better. So I ask questions, and we all have the same passion for cars. And I love our boss Todd. He's kind of shy, but he's a great guy to be around. Great boss. John and I click really well. I mean, all of us.
Maybe
click.
the next podcast we'll do you and John.
Oh, that'd be sweet. Yeah.
'Cause, you guys got that, like, just goofy best friend chemistry. It's awesome.
Oh yeah, him and I click so good. It's like he's like my second brother. Brother from another mother.
Brother from another mother.
Yep.
Alrighty, well, we'll end her there. Thank you, Nick.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Thank you.